Hey everybody, Fred Bernardo, the smoking guitar player. Hey, guess what I'm gonna make on my grill today? Artisan bread. You heard it right. Here we go! Okay, so we're going to make some artisan bread. We're going to move quick, keep this tape moving along. But those of you who speak French, this is my mise en place. This is all my stuff I'm going to need. Now over here I got 6½ cups, or approximately 925 grams of all-purpose flour. I got 1.5 tablespoons each of instant dry yeast and kosher salt. That's about 15 grams of yeast and about 24 grams of kosher salt. And here we got 3½ cups of water that's between 100 and 110 degrees. Okay? And we're going to put all this together. There's our mixer. We got our paddle attachment and our dough hook. We got some olive oil here. We're going to use that to spray our spatula and to spray the inside of our containers where we're going to put our dough and let it rise. Okay, so let's mix it up. Okay, so we're going to get things going. This is our really super easy artisan bread recipe. So we got our yeast in there. Now we're going to put our warm water. Now this uses the cold ferment. This dough really should sit, once we have this mixed, this should sit in the fridge overnight. At least one night. And it's good for about a week after that. Okay? So we're going to turn this on. At slow speed like that is good enough. So we got our yeast and our water in there. Now we're going to add our salt. And then we're going to start adding our flour in there. Now if you're from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, right down the road from us, you wouldn't call it flour, you'd call it flour. That's right, with your Pennsylvania Dutch accent. Okay, we're going to put this in here. I like to put some of it in first. Now we're just going to try and get it wet. That's all we care about. Once it's wet, we're done. There you go. Now watch this. See how shaggy that is? Here goes the rest. There you go. We don't want to make this any harder than we have to. Now I got a spatula here. I'm going to spray it. There's my spatula. Spraying it with some oil. We're going to let that go for a minute, but you really just need to get it mixed. Doesn't need to be anything more than wet. Once all the flour is wet, once you're sure it's hydrated, which is about a minute or two, you're done. Now you see here it's stuck anyway, even though I had it greased, because this is some sticky stuff. And you can see in there there's some strands of gluten starting to form. I'm going to do this again here, just to make sure all that flour's in there. I'm pretty sure it is. Now let's see what we got. That's it, right there. That's exactly what we want. And we'll show you how we transfer this out of here, because it is some creepy crawly stuff. You can see that. Now I've got my bowl here. I'm going to turn this camera a little so you can watch this whole thing happen. I got my bowl here which has been oiled. There's oil inside there. I sprayed some oil in. Because this stuff is some sticky stuff. I used this stuff right here. Okay, here we go. I'm hoping I can get this at an angle. I'm going to have to work left-handed. I'm not a left-handed guy, but I'll do it today. It's like the creature from the deep. It's like a sticky thing out of a science fiction movie. Now this is going to sit for 2 hours on my desk. We call it the creature when it's sitting there because it's going to blow up way far. And then when it comes back down and falls back down on itself, it's ready to bake. Which is a couple hours from now, depending on the ambient temperature. Okay? So that's your dough. Now I'm going to make a second one and put it in here, and then we'll show you what it looks like when it expands. So folks, this is what it looks like. Now this is 2 batches. I made a double batch, I made a second batch, I just plopped it right on top of here. You can see here, this thing's a good third full, and this is probably going to triple in the next couple hours. And I know from experience in this container, it's actually going to try and escape. Now we're going to put the lid on, and we're going to leave it loose so it has plenty of, it can breathe, you know, because it's going to be giving off some gases. And this thing will rise up like this, and then all of a sudden, it flops back down, and that's when it's ready to bake. You put it in the fridge overnight, and you're ready to go, and we'll get on with the next part of the video. But maybe I'll show you what that's like when the creature rises here. Okay, well, it's 3 hours later. I forgot to check on this earlier, and you see what can happen. I was afraid that might happen because it was a little warmer up here than I expected. So we actually went over the top. That's okay, because this is going to crunch back down, and it's going to settle. In another minute or two, it's going to flop. It's going to start going down. It's going to be ready to bake. So I'm going to clean up my mess, and then we'll start baking tomorrow. See you then. So here it is after we clean up our mess, and it's starting to flop down on itself, which is what it does after a couple hours. And we're not supposed to let it get too carried away here. It overflowed this container actually a little. And but now we're going to put it in the fridge, and it's good for about a week. You're going to see us grab it out, but as you can see, we call it the creature around here because it's super wiggly and gooey, super sticky. Okay? Put the lid on loosely, and we're ready.